The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus revealed himself to his disciples, and when they had finished breakfast, he said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He answered him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." Then he said to him a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said to him, "Tend my sheep." He said to him a third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was distressed that Jesus had said to him a third time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep." Amen, amen, I say to you, when you were younger, you used to dress yourself and go where you wanted. But when you grow old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go. He said this, signifying by which kind of death he would glorify God. And when he said this, he said to him, "Follow me." The Gospel of the Lord. Good morning. Today in the church calendar, June 29th, we celebrate every year the Feast of Sts. Peter and Paul, Apostles. And this feast day, because it is a solemnity of import, supersedes the regular Sunday cycle. So it would have otherwise today would have been the 13th Sunday in ordinary time, but this particular solemnity takes precedence over that celebration. So today we have this opportunity, which we do every so many years, to celebrate the discipleship of Peter and Paul, who are both called apostles. Of course, Peter was the first apostle, we believe the first pope, if you will, the leader of the church, the leader of the early church. St. Paul was the champion of the New Testament, who wrote most of the books of the New Testament, and was an apostle, let's say out of time, if you will, in the line of the other apostles. So we celebrate their ministry in the church today. And we believe that these two particular significant apostles, significant leaders of the early church, both came to the end of their life through martyrdom in the city of Rome. Their tombs are there even to this day. And so what do we celebrate in a special way when we celebrate Saints Peter and Paul? Well, obviously, Peter being called to be the rock of the church, he's given the keys to the kingdom. Paul has a special role in preaching the gospel to all people and spreading that news of the gospel throughout the known world, at least. And they are like the two rock-solid foundations of the church as we have it today. But what does this have to do with us right here and now? And I think that as we contemplate the gospel reading for this Vigil Mass of Saints Peter and Paul, we hear Jesus over and over again ask Peter the apostle, "Do you love me?" And let's remember, this is late in the gospel story where Jesus has already risen from the dead and now he appears to them. He says, "Peter, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me?" Peter responds, "Yes, Lord, you know I love you. You know I love you. You know I love you." And he says to Peter, Jesus says to Peter, "If you love me, feed my lambs. If you love me, tend my sheep. If you love me, feed my sheep, tend my lamb, feed my sheep." feed my sheep, tend my sheep. And what does this mean? Feed my sheep. We believe that both Peter and Paul were called in a way to do exactly what Peter answers when he says, yes, Lord, you know I love you, and the challenge given to Peter specifically in the gospel, but also to Paul and to all of us who are people of faith, maybe in a special way to ministers within the church, but all of us are called to tend the lambs of God, to feed the sheep, in whatever way we're called to in our own way, to participate in that commission that Jesus gives to his apostles, to his disciples. How do we feed the sheep? And why does that somehow give evidence to the love we have for Jesus? Last week we celebrated the feast of the most holy body and blood of Christ, and we remembered that Jesus gave of his very life for us. He shares his body and blood with us and sends us out into the world to do as he has done. And so those apostles who witnessed the resurrection of Jesus, and Peter specifically in the gospel today, who's challenged again to tend the lambs, feed the sheep, we are called, like him, to put our lives in service to God's people as they were. Feeding the sheep and tending the sheep, to use the analogy, is rough work. You have to get down into the pasture, as Pope Francis said, to smell like the sheep. It's dirty work sometimes. And yet, this is what we are called to do. That is to say, to roll up our sleeves, to commit ourselves to working for justice and peace in the world, for placing ourselves in service to those who are most in need. And certainly our church has many ways of doing that, and has so for all of its history, through its charitable works, through its preaching of the gospel, not just in word, but also in deed. Today, as we celebrate Peter and Paul, let's remember that we share in that ministry in some way, all of us, in the commission of Jesus to place ourselves in service to those most in need, like they did. And they did so even to the point of giving up their own lives as martyrs in service to God's church. Maybe we won't have to go that far, but we are called in our own way to sacrifice in order to serve the needs of others. This might be an important message we might contemplate as we celebrate this great solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul. Let's encourage one another with this message of faith. Praised be Jesus Christ, now and forever. Amen.